Hey there, yogis. I'm Nicole. Welcome back to My Yoga Time. Thanks for joining me today. Today I have another deeply restorative class. Great for any time of the day, though, especially in the evening if you've had a hectic day and it's time to unwind the body. So for this practice, we will be using the wall. So do position yourself close to the wall. I've also got one yoga block. So if you don't have a yoga block, you can improvise with a really thick book or a rolled up towel. So when you're ready, we're going to begin taking those legs up against the wall. A wonderful pose to do either first thing in the morning or last thing at the end of the day. So just getting in as close as is comfortable. We'll take a few moments there with those legs straight up. You might like to take the arms out to the side or even above the head, collecting opposite elbows with the hands. Just taking the next few breaths to arrive in your practice. A few mindful moments. To be mindful means to be here now, not with the worries of the day, not with tomorrow's to-do list, but here, right now, with the breath, moving the body. Let's lower those hands down if they're overhead. Taking a reclined pigeon now, bend your left leg. Place your left ankle on the front of the right leg, either above or below the knee, depending on your hips and knee. Option one is here, a little deeper if you bend the right leg as well, sole of the foot to the floor. You can always wiggle back from the wall if you need to. And if you're overly tight and it feels good to do so, maybe a little rock and roll from side to side. Otherwise, you can just hold it still. Softening any tension that may have crept into the jaw. A sense as though you're breathing into the outer left hip. And let's release, changing sides. It is natural to feel a little tighter on one side to the other, or having restricted range of motion, more on one side than the other. Try not to judge. Be at peace with wherever you are right now. And when you're ready, let's release. One more pose to do on the wall. We're going to take those legs out nice and wide as is comfortable. And if you've got a great range of motion and you're coming down quite close to the floor, you can always prop up those legs. If they need a little extra support, maybe with yoga blocks. Arms can be on your navel, out to the side, or above the head. Breathe into both legs, into the hips, the lower belly. When we can witness the breath, The volume on the mind chatter turns down. There are glimpses of stillness, quietness. And releasing the pose here, feel free to use your hands to gently bring those legs back together. A little squeeze into the chest, maybe a little rock from side to side. You can roll onto your preferred side when you're ready. You might like to stay for a moment or two in your fetal position. Only when you're ready, bringing yourself up, coming into tabletop. From here, we'll take our puppy pose. So keeping the hips up nice and high, creating that right angle through the backs of your legs, reaching the arms out in front. Now, either having the arms straight, hands as wide as the mat, forehead to the mat, or of course you can use your block under the head. Otherwise, elbows a little closer, hands to prayer, above the head. This is our melting heart pose, Anahatasana. So as you inhale, feel the upper body expand in all directions. Take a moment to pause. And then exhale slowly, softening towards the mat. Lifting upper body now. Let's come onto those forearms and down onto the belly. Taking your Sphinx pose. So feel free to take those feet out a little bit wider if you're feeling a bit jammed in your low back. Ever so gently draw the elbows back towards the ribs. You might like to hold the head still or just take a brief neck stretch, dropping one ear to the shoulder and then the other. Now, a few choices here, yogis, for our next pose. I want you to be very mindful of your shoulders. We're going to move through a laying chest opener, and there's lots of variations. What I really want you to be sure that you're doing is keeping the arm that we're focusing on, keep it bent. Let's not straighten the arm today. So we'll begin on the left side. Left arm is out to the side, create a right angle. At most, the elbow's in line with the shoulder. Now, option one, you'll just rest here with your forehead on the back of the palm. If you need to lighten that pose, you can just move your left hand a little bit higher so that the elbow's not in line with the shoulder. If you want a little bit more sensation, bend your right knee out to the side. Final variation, you'd roll onto your left hip, bend both knees, bring your left ear to the mat. Your right fingertips can rest on the floor, or you can take that arm behind you for a bind. Option 2, connect index finger and thumb with that right hand for Chin Mudra. Only here for a few breaths. And let's release, changing sides. So option 1, use your left hand as a pillow, right arm out to the side. Option 2, bend the left knee. Otherwise, let's roll over onto that right hip, right ear. And let's release the pose. Gently pressing up if you can, just a little, so that you can roll over onto your back. Once you've arrived, take a hold of your prop. Taking a supported bridge pose, so lifting up the hips, placing the prop underneath the bottom. So you could have the block on the flat side, you could go a little higher and turn it up to the second height if you prefer. Here we're going to take a hold of that left knee, and if it feels okay for your back, straighten and relax the right leg. Breathing into the lower belly. Softening the left hip flexor, right at the hip crease. And let's bend the right knee, bring it up next to the left, change sides. Inhale, and as you exhale, release that right leg as well. So you can either straighten and relax both legs, or you can bend both knees, listening to your back for that one. Either arms by your side or above the head. Just a few more breaths. When you're ready, bending those knees, lowering the arms down. Let's press into the feet, try and slide them away from the head, lift up the hips, holding an active bridge for just a few breaths. So you can take your prop to the side. Again, pressing down through the feet, the head and the shoulders. Lifting up the heels, and then exhale, lower down, one vertebrae at a time. Touching down to the mat, let's pick up the feet, hands to knees. Press the hands into the knees, pull the knees back into the hands, and imprint your lower back onto the mat. Relax the shins now, hug the knees into the chest. Inhale to straighten the arms, exhale to bend. If you need longer there, please take it. Otherwise, we're going to cross the left leg over the right leg. Move the hips about 1 centimeter to the left. We're twisting to the right, so use your block for support. So if this twist is too intense on the hips, you can straighten that bottom leg, or you can uncross the legs. And gently deepen your breath to deepen the twist. Inhaling back to center. Changing sides, move the hips over to the right just a little. Before twisting to the left. And let's bring those legs back to center. Uncrossing the legs. So 2 choices here, yogis. If you're ready for final relaxation, let's come straight down into Shavasana and take rest. If you would like one more upper back bend with a little pranayama, and you've no concerns with shoulders or neck, you can take a brief fish pose before Shavasana. If you're doing fish, hands underneath the bottom, palms are facing down, thumbs are touching. Then straighten the legs. Bring your elbows in to the ribs and shoulders should crowd the ears. From here, we want to bend the elbows and lift the upper body off the mat. So head and shoulders lift and then allow the head to drop back. So my head is lightly touching the floor, but all the weight is in my arms. There's no pressure on the neck or the head. While you're here, feel free to take 3 lion's breaths. Inhale through the nose, then exhale through the mouth, stick out the tongue. Tucking in the chin, lowering down, release the hands, coming into Shavasana. Option to connect index finger and thumbs once again for Chin Mudra. Eyes closing down, forehead softening, tongue and jaw relaxed. Let's inhale a little deeper. Send the breath down your right arm to the fingertips. Then breathe down the right leg to the tips of the toes. Breathing down the left leg. And breathing down the left arm to those fingertips. Feel free to wiggle toes and fingers. Just swallow if the mouth is dry. Or wiggle and stretch as those urges arise. Thank you for practicing with me today, yogis. I hope that you were able to unwind any tension in the body, clear any stress in the mind. Wishing you sweet dreams. Namaste.